Alrighty, time for another update. It's late September 2021, which marks around like 8 months since I started the food forest. At least this side. This side's a little newer, so I just want to quickly go into a little more detail in this video now that things are actually starting to look like a forest and this stratification is looking a lot more clear. So pretty much the 4 pillars of the agroforestry model that I'm kind of implementing here are density, diversity, succession, and stratification. And some of these beds are perfect examples of the 4 pillars. So we'll start with this one because it's kind of one of the first beds I did. Well, that one is, but this one still is a good example. So here I have Soursop Seedlings and an actual Soursop tree. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Soursop trees all right next to each other because I want to be able to choose the best out of all of them. If you go to a nursery, you don't particularly know what that tree has gone through, so it's better to, in my experience in farming at least, it's always better to plant way more than you think because seed is relatively cheap and you can choose the best genetics. So there's a density for you and diversity. Right next to it I have Okinawa spinach, longevity. I forget which spinach it is, but ground cover spinach, and more ground cover here with sweet potato. I have an emergent species here, Sterculia fortita, chisha. It's gonna be a super high tree, grows really tall, and Mexican sunflower as well, all within a couple feet of each other. And the same can be said for in here. Sugarcane, toilet paper plant, Plectranthus, I think is the scientific name for it. Plectranthus something. More Mexican sunflower. But my target crops, here's a Barbados cherry in here, which I need to clear some light for because they don't like to get shaded. Taro or malanga, I think this is the malanga variety. That's huge. But my main species in this row, at least, are grafted mango trees. What I am doing now for the rest of my mangoes is I'm just planting tons of seedlings and hoping to graft onto them. But I had a little money at the time and I splurged on a couple of, I think 3 or 4 grafted mango trees right next to Suriname cherry. Bananas are coming up, more sweet potato, more sugar cane, another grafted mango, another banana, more sugar cane, Mexican sunflower, canna lilies, galongos over there. Those stumps are pigeon peas. I have pigeon peas everywhere, occupying this top layer, medium strata. I have a random loquat in here that's sheltering jackfruit seedlings, more sweet potato. This is African potato mint, which is another ground cover. Here there's a lot more weed pressure because I just used a pickaxe to get all the weeds out at first before I had access to a tiller. So I'm trying to come back in and put a lot more ground covering plants because I eventually don't want to have to deal with the weeds all that much. And they're not a big problem, but still, I don't want grasses to establish inside my beds. Cassava as well. I'm planting a lot of root, tubers, calories because it's a food forest. I want to eat food, and my sister just had a baby, so a lot of this food is going for baby food. You know, that's another thing to consider when you're making a food forest is what's the objective. You know, if your objective is to sell tons of fruit trees to your local market, then go heavy with fruit trees. Don't have to worry about so much cassava. My objective is to have food for my family and my nephew, so I'm going heavier with staple crops and spicing it up with grafted fruit trees and stuff every now and then, because eventually I'd like to make a little money off of this as well. But my main priority is having staple crops for the family. So there's another mango tree as well. And then we start coming into the coconuts, which I'm debating whether or not to keep them in there yet, or keep them there, because they're slow growing and they get pretty big. And I've already moved a coconut or two to different places because I think I could be more efficient with the space. So that's that little bed. Heavy on the cassava. It's like a wall of cassava pretty much. And heavy on the sweet potato because that's what I had at the time. But got some grafted mango trees over there. But this is the middle row. More cassava. More sweet potato. There's a cutting that took. Castor beans as well, helping with the shade. But the sweet potatoes have really started to flourish, which I'm very happy about, because sweet potatoes are delicious, and again, they make excellent baby food. So, another katuk. The compost pile is thriving as well. So many black soldier fly larvae in there. I have the Napier grass around it, which gives it a nice little environment. And the Napier grass just booms. And I'm able to chop and drop pretty much like twice a month with that. But okay, another example, and here's the bed that has Seminole pumpkin, again, baby food. Prickly pear, which I eat every day pretty much with eggs, it's delicious. Another soursop seedling. You know, with agroforestry, you can't be afraid to plant a whole bunch of stuff. Another soursop, banana, pigeon peas, more pigeon peas as biomass. And on this side, I've got crazy amount of Mexican sunflower sheltering little plants. Like, what do I even have in there? I don't even know. Mango seedlings. So it looks like, it's kind of like when you're carving a spoon or making a piece of artwork. I've heard artists say like, or making a novel, writing a novel. I've heard novelists and authors say that the characters write themselves, sort of kind of thing, or like the story sort of writes itself as you keep writing. It's kind of the same here. I don't have a master plan, but the things that are doing good come up strong, and they kind of forge the path. So it looks like I'm going to be having a lot of mango trees here. So this might be a mango heavy farm. I might be able to have tons of different mango varieties that I can offer in the future. Big old banana doing its thing with avocados coming up next to a whatchamacallit, forget how you, gumbo limbo cutting that I stuck in. It's flourished coming up. Another soursop. So it's like I said, I had access to soursop trees. I know soursops sell pretty decently here because there's a big Hispanic population, big Cuban population here in South Florida, and guanabana soursop is very popular. So knowing that, I planted a lot of soursops as well as mamey, which you'll see up there. So this is the second section. and things here are definitely popping off. The turmerics are doing the thing. The stratification is becoming more clear in this bed. So I'm gonna go ahead and take you on a journey in this bed. So essentially, the turmeric is on either side, and then things like cassava and different trees are in the middle. So let's just see what's in the middle here. So the theory is, the turmerics aren't gonna be there forever, neither is the cassava. So when I eventually harvest the turmeric and cassava, it's gonna leave me a lot of room to work with new species. So here, I think is a little tiny avocado tree. I think it's getting pretty shaded out, but like I said, we'll work with that later. Here is the earleaf acacias that are coming up, which I leave because they're excellent biomass producers. Some sort of annona, I'm not sure what annona it is, but could be chirimoya. Banana right next to it. Let's see, cassava, more cassava here. Turmeric flowers are looking gorgeous. The Sterculia florcita tree here is starting to shoot its way up. Banana again. Here we have a ice cream bean that's doing very well next to avocado seedlings, I think those are avocados. And here I have ground layer of this other Plectranthus variety, Boldo. Another big banana. This is all, it's really it's hard to even capture it on the camera because everything's so dense. Mango seedlings coming up. And just this quick note, I was a little scared to plant any expensive fruit trees on this line because of how many cassavas there are. But the way I plant the cassavas is at a 45-degree angle like this, so that it shoots the roots that way. And that's why I'm able to put trees this way, because there's not going to be any roots over there. There's only going to be roots over here. Might affect the banana, but bananas are super strong, so I'm not too worried about the bananas. And along the outside edge is just tons of Mexican sunflower as biomass production. And there's pigeon pea as well here. Support and chop and drop. Another Sterculia florcita coming up. And I try to work as vertically as possible. So I'm always snapping off lower branches to send signals to the plant to keep growing upward. And another annona, I'm not sure what it is. I think it's a chirimoya as well. And another banana. So that's just one bed, there's a lot. I think this bed exemplifies the 4 pillars very, very perfectly. Density, diversity, succession, and stratification. This middle bed, I'm still figuring out. For right now, I have a lot of prickly pear. It's kind of my go-to. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with this, so let me just put a whole bunch of prickly pear for now. But what I'm thinking is I'm gonna line this whole row up with pineapples. The pineapples do very well and they're very easy to grow. So that's the cool thing with agroforestry. If you see any spots that need filling, you can fill them in with whatever plant, like pineapple or baby cactus. This row, still working out the kinks, but I was managed to get more guanabana, Soursop seedlings in. Here's a mango coming up, shooting new growth. Another soursop, more soursop. Some papayas that are coming up here as well. So this bed isn't as efficient as I would have liked it to be, but it's still producing some stuff, which is all that I can ask for. So on the outside edge is just tons of Mexican sunflower, the sugar apple, pushing out new growth here, right next to another cutting of gumbo limbo, next to a banana, next to a little mulberry tree, next to a poinciana. So diversity is key, density is key. And as we move on, I have my 2 rows of turmeric as well, and malanga, and I think this is the Edo variety, smaller bulbs, easier to work with, probably easier to harvest than the big, huge ones. So all down this row, castors and pigeon peas as the top layer, and on this far edge here, so you can see from the outside how this is looking like. Okay, a lot of diversity, a lot of life. Bananas, moringas, achiote, also a good support species, anado in English, urucum in Portuguese. It's a slower growing tree, but once it gets established, it'll be amazing chop and drop, and also culinary purposes. You know, my family's Honduran, so we use achiote for colorings and adding to tamales and stuff like that. More mango seedlings, but here the main focus is this mame sapote, and I might put another sapote tree in here. I might replace this coconut with another fruit tree, mango seedlings. Okay, so, and jack beans. A note on jack beans, they're awesome. I prune these back like twice a month, and they come back up like it's nothing. And on this side, I was able to get some really healthy cuttings of cassava. So I kind of just let this be cassava land, yucca land. Some of the bananas are suffering from the shade of the cassavas, but that's fine with me. I don't really, like I said, I kind of just designated this as cassava territory. So there are still some mango seedlings coming up, but because there's so much cassava, like you can see, there's one thick trunk, 2, another one. These might be some big boys, so I wanted to wait it out, get a good harvest, come back in with clean canvas. I have some gingers coming up. A lot of my gingers didn't do too well, but there's some coming up. At least I'll have seed for next season. More ginger. Papayas are coming up randomly in all the different places. More sugarcane as well, random sugarcane. Again, jack beans doing an excellent job providing biomass for this bed. See just how rich this soil is becoming because of the constant chop and drop. And then this section, a little newer, but same concept. Got a little squash blossom, which is cool. Little pollinators in there hanging out. Same sort of deal. Canna lily. No, this is a special turmeric that I set aside on another bed forget what it was called, but it's different from the regular turmeric. Banana, soursop, lucana tree, I don't know. More moringa, sheltering, mango seedling, another banana, a starfruit tree here, castor bean, pigeon pea. You know, like, there's just a lot to work with here. And if some of the stuff dies, it's fine. I have a whole bunch of other stuff that I can fall back on. Another meme, sapote here, moringa, another lucana, and in the middle, cassava everywhere, holding down the middle row, giving a little shelter to these papayas. Even though papayas do like some sunlight, I can always chop these back a little bit. I also have a betel leaf, Piper sargos, I don't know the scientific name, but it's what Vietnamese people use as wraps to make bolalat, I think is the traditional name of the meal. Like meat wraps, kind of like dolmas. Super amazing leaf, peppery taste, it's awesome. More papayas coming up. Edo, taro, malongo, whatever you want to call it. Another one of those ground covers. I'm trying to go heavier on my ground covers because I realize the importance of them, and I realized that I've been skimping out on my ground covers. And then this is the edge of the property. There's the woods, which eventually I'll have cleared and start expanding the forest that way. My little Napier grass section, hoping to use as a biomass bank as well. Coconut there. And this is one of my last beds on the east side. Mango seedlings, avocado. This is a the Simmons avocado. Jamaican cherry, strawberry tree, Otingia, with right next to it another mame sapote. So again, the mames and the guanabanas were strategically planted here because A, they're delicious, but B, the Hispanic population here in Naples really digs them. So I might be able to make a few bucks off of them. So yeah, there's a big overview of the east side of the property. Again, keeping the 4 pillars of agroforestry in mind every time I plant. Density, diversity, stratification, and succession.